Then James and John, the sons of Zebedee, came to him. "Teacher," they said, "we want you to do for us whatever we ask." "What do you want me to do for you?" he asked. They replied, "Let one of us sit at your right and the other at your left in your glory." "You don't know what you are asking," Jesus said. "Can you drink the cup I drink, or be baptized with the baptism I am baptized with?" "We can," they answered. Jesus said to them, "You will drink the cup I drink and be baptized with the baptism I am baptized with. But to sit at my right or left is not for me to grant. These places belong to those for whom they have been prepared." When the 10 heard about this, they became indignant with James and John. Jesus called them together and said, "You know that those who are regarded as rulers of the Gentiles lord it over them, and their high officials exercise authority over them. But not so with you. Instead, whoever wants to become great among you must be your servant, and whoever wants to be first must be slave of all. For even the Son of Man didn't come to be served, but to serve, and to give his life as a ransom for many."
Mark chapter 10, verses 35 to 45. I'm sitting in the Hotham Park in the parish of St Mary Magdalene in South Bersted, where I'm the vicar. On the 27th of April 2016, the local press reported that a hostage situation had taken place here in the park. Nobody knew where a whole load of plastic rubber ducks had come from. Well, the local council took them back to their offices and said, unless somebody comes forward, the ducks get it. Well, there had been a campaign, an advertising one. They even put them on a London taxi cab advertising Bognor, so it may have had something to do with that. In our passage today, 2 of the disciples, James and John, are jostling for the best seats in the house when Jesus comes in glory. They are still hugely confused. They think it's all about having a crown rather than a cross. I'm sitting now at a table and we'll have to see who's going to have the seats. It's the hatter's table and we're seated at the, well, I'm at the moment on his left-hand side. The other disciples are indignant, not because they are embarrassed, but because they wish they'd asked first. They're only cross that they didn't get there earlier. There's such a misunderstanding. You see, they think that Jesus is still all about some kind of revolution, taking over the Roman occupying forces. They think it's all going to be about a show of strength, but instead it's about suffering and humility. There's been a book that has caused quite a stir in academic circles. It's called Dominion by Tom Holland. He's an academic, and he makes the point that in the ancient world they knew nothing of service and humility and self-sacrifice until Christianity. And Jesus and his followers changed all of that. And in fact, our whole Western civilization and culture has been massively influenced by the way of the cross, the way of service, of following Jesus. And it has shown itself in just about every area of life that we take so much for granted. It is the foundations that our whole society is built on, about service, about sacrifice, about other people-centeredness. Well, Jesus goes on to say that his life is all about service. He hasn't come to be served, but to serve, and to give his life as a ransom for many. I don't know what happened to the ducks at the council offices, but I do know that unless we are served by Jesus' death, we have to pay for our own sin ourselves. The way in which we can be freed and to live a life with God forever in the new kingdom is by having our debt paid by Jesus' death. So we can be set free, we can be released, we can be ransomed and forgiven by Jesus' death for us. Are you part of the many whom Jesus has ransomed? Father, thank you so much for the forgiveness, for setting me free when Jesus served me by dying in my place on the cross. May my life be a life of service, not in any way trying to pay for what Jesus has done for me, but out of gratitude and following in his footsteps and his pattern and example. May I be a servant of all. Amen.